Well, well, well. So basically now I started my first stream. Hope it will work well. And let's start from this. And let's do, I guess I don't need this, I don't need this as well. This. So basically I decided to record my journey. This is the first day of this journey of building a startup in public. Actually, I have some ideas that I want to do. I already have some little applications using claude, and I also vibecoded myself some other applications like this one. So it's will start timer, and you will see overlay with this timer. And I think that AI agents can be more effective than huge teams, venture capital backed teams, and I want to just record this journey because it will give me at least some kind of discipline, I guess, and accountability to do right things. So, and this, I decided to start with this course, Claude Code in Action. I think it will give me some interesting ideas because everything I did in Claude Code I did intuitively, and I think Claude team can give me some useful information as well. So let's see. Yeah, I see comments in this application. I hope streaming goes well without any problems. So let's move to this course.
You can prompt Claude and watch it finish a quick task, but running a long one is much harder. Refactoring across a dozen files or implementing a new feature could take hours, and if you aren't steering Claude in the right direction, it can potentially take longer. But there are many ways to help Claude during these long sessions. There are two important habits. The first is to scope the work before Claude starts. So if you use plan mode, Claude will do the research in read-only mode and hand you a plan. Once the plan has been provided, actually read through it. The more thorough the plan, the less likely that you're going to have hiccups when Claude executes. And when it comes to revising the plan, just ask Claude to add it where you want. It's much faster to iterate over a plan than it is to simply hope for the best. The second habit is to steer Claude in the right direction. And here are some ways that you can do that. Compact summarizes your conversation and uses that as a new context while deleting the old, freeing up your context window. However, there is a risk that something important will be removed, causing Claude to drift in the wrong direction. So when you do the compact command, add in the changes you want. And adding instructions after the command tells Claude how to summarize. So if you were done debugging a while ago but want to just focus on those API changes, well, here you can do that. When Claude goes down the wrong path, you don't have to prompt your way out of it. Rewind brings you to the last checkpoint. To open it, double tap escape on an empty prompt and you'll get the rewind menu. Every user prompt creates a checkpoint that you can revert back to with different options. 1, you can restore the code, conversation, or both. 2, summarize from here will summarize everything after the checkpoint. Great if you had a side conversation and just want to free up some space. And summarize up to here will summarize everything before the checkpoint. So this is great if you want to summarize a long setup phase, but keep the implementation parts. When we talk about steering, we assume that you are hands-on. If you want something a little bit more autonomous, there is the goal and loop. Goal sets a completion condition. You describe what done looks like, and Claude keeps working across turns until a fast evaluator confirms that those conditions have been met, instead of just stopping for the first time it thinks it's finished. So for example, I could do /goal, all tests in source billing, pass, and the type checker report 0 errors. Doing /goal clear will cancel it. And one constraint here is that the evaluator only reads the transcript, so the condition has to be checkable from the output that Claude produces, like the test results that it ran. Loop runs a prompt on an interval between turns, fixed or self-paced. Use it to pull something external like a CI run or a deploy. And act when the state changes. You can press escape to stop it. So our steering metaphor assumes one steering wheel in one car, but when we're working with multiple agents on the same code base, we don't want to have 2 steering wheels in one car. Well, that's just unsafe. This is where work trees come in. It prevents 2 or more Claude sessions from fighting over files in a repository. This prevents conflicts by having 3 independent file trees. On exit, a clean work tree is auto-removed. A .worktree include file at the repo root lists get ignored files to copy into each work tree, which is useful for a environment variable file or a local configuration that you need but don't want to commit into the version control. When it comes to handling long Claude code sessions, scope your work first and then steer. Direct your compaction so the summary keeps what matters. Use the rewind menu to course correct. Set a goal when you can describe done better than you can describe the steps, and run parallel work and work trees. Do that and you can trust a long run without babysitting it.
Yeah, I already knew everything that he said, but I actually didn't know that you can compact your session and write a prompt about what you want to be in your summary. It's an interesting idea. Like, actually, I just most of the time when I done something, I just clear entire conversation to start a new task, because most of the times when you edit a feature, for example, you don't really need to see the whole context of your conversation related to this feature. But maybe I will try this approach as well. Maybe it will be useful. Yeah, loop. And work trees is a pretty useful thing as well, because it allows you to do different features. But sometimes you can have problems. For example, one work tree changed something that another work tree don't see, and you may have problems. Okay.
The claude.md file is not an enforced configuration, meaning if you keep adding to one gigantic file, the less Claude is able to follow it correctly. Here's how you can keep your claude.md file tight and to follow your instructions much more reliably. Simply put, the longer the file gets, the more it has to compete with itself. First, is claude.md even the right tool for the job? A hard rule like never push to main belongs in a pre-tool use hook instead. The hook is designed to stop the push even when Claude does try to do it. The claude.md file doesn't just exist in your project file. There's 3 other places. One's your managed policy, then your user file, then your project file, and finally local. Claude loads every memory file together. Nothing gets dropped, and org policy is always in play. Local is for what's just yours in this project. Say you're refactoring off the sprint and want Claude to hold your architectural decisions in mind. Well, that goes in local, not the shared project file. To make your claude.md files easier to maintain, use the path to file syntax to split up your instructions. Just know what they buy you though. Claude expands imported files inline at launch right alongside the file that references them. Imports help you organize a large claude.md file, but everything still loads up front and they don't reduce context. So we can make our claude.md file much shorter. Whether Claude obeys it comes down to phrasing, and most rules fail because they're pretty vague. First, be specific and checkable. Don't put things like follow best practices. Do you even know what that means? Well, don't expect Claude to magically. Put new API routes in source API handlers, 1 per file. Well, that's explicit, so put that instead. Name the replacement. Don't use default exports, leaves the alternative open. Use name exports, not default exports, closes that potential misinterpretation. And then realize that emphasis is a budget. Important and you must raises a rule priority, but only relative to everything quieter around it. Spend them on the 2 or 3 rules that hurt when broken. The file also stays under revision. When Claude does the wrong thing, we'll treat that as a bug report against your claude.md file. Tell it, add that to the claude.md file, and it'll write that rule for you. Treat your claude.md file like production code. If you can't justify a line, well, delete it. Move enforcement to hooks, organize with imports, and scope past specific conventions into your rules so that they load only when they apply. The leaner the file, the more of it Claude follows.
Okay. Okay.
As your project continues to grow and grow, you want to automate the work that's constantly repeated. You already know that skills are great for this, but here are some tips on how you can use skills to help you verify your work. So this example is the skill that's worth building first. Ask Claude to refactor something, and when it finishes, the description matches, task that edited code, and the skill fires. It runs a suite, reads a diff, checks that no test has weakened to pass, and reports pass or fail with the evidence attached. Checking the work no longer depends on you remembering to ask for it. The same shape carries any procedure your team repeats, a release checklist or a migration recipe. If you've typed the same multi-step instruction twice, well, that's a skill. Now, a skill folder can hold more than just a skill.md file. Drop a reference.md beside it for detailed material and link it from that skill. Claude reads it only when it needs the depth. Claude executes scripts in the folder rather than loading them, so a skill can carry its own tooling. So keep your skill.md file itself lean and push the heavy material into those side files. So a quick way to keep the 3 instruction surfaces straight, conventions that apply all the time go into your claude.md file, and procedures or reference materials tied to a kind of task go into a skill. A rule Claude must not be able to skip belongs in a hook because claude.md and skills are both instructions that Claude follows rather than code that runs. A skill is a folder with a skill.md, a name, a description that triggers it, and the procedure itself. Only descriptions load until a skill is needed, so package every procedure you repeat. Start with verification and check it into the Claude skills, and your team inherits the same move.
Like to see my skill. Okay, we have GStack skills in this project, but where are they located? And where is claude.md file related to this project?
Permission mode lets you decide once what's safe to run without you. You already cycled through several of them with Shift-Tab, manual, accept edits, and plan. The rest are where hands-off Claude code lives, and the one to lead with is auto. Claude runs without prompts while a separate classifier reviews each action before it executes, stepping in on ones it identifies as dangerous. So here are the permission modes. First, we have manual, which reads only without prompting. Everything else asks. Accept edits reads file edits and common file system bash commands. This is for iterating on code that you review after the fact. Plan reads only. It researches and proposes without editing. Auto mode accepts everything with a classifier model reviewing each action before it runs. Don't ask, only pre-approved tools allowed. Everything else auto denied with no prompt. This is great for your CI pipelines. And then bypass permissions, skips all check. This is equivalent to the dangerously skip permissions. Only run it inside of an isolated container or virtual machine. Press Shift Tab to cycle through manual, accept edits, plan, and auto. The status bar shows which one that you're in. Auto mode is where Claude runs, but before each action executes, a separate classifier model reviews it. The classifier guards intent. It blocks the moves that escalate beyond your request, production deploys and migrations, force pushing or piping download code into a shell, sending sensitive data to external endpoints, and destroying files that exist for the session. It allows the everyday work, local edits in your project, installing dependencies from your log file, read-only requests, and pushing to your own branch. Now, the classifier won't catch whether the code works or not. So if you ask Claude to refactor authentication and it writes broken authentication, the classifier waves it through because broken isn't dangerous. Use auto mode together with a stop hook that runs your tests. Auto mode watches what Claude is trying to do, while the hook confirms that the code actually runs. Auto mode's guardrails are still evolving, so check the docs for the current block and allow lists. Don't ask is the right move whenever no human is there to approve prompts. CI, schedule jobs, overnight batches. Anything off that list gets auto-denied, so your pipeline keeps moving instead of hanging on an approval no one will give. There are several permission modes, and you can reach the everyday ones by cycling Shift-Tab. Auto is the hands-off default. The classifier checks intent before each action runs, and a stop hook checks correctness after. Don't ask covers unattended pipelines and bypass permission block only inside isolated containers and VMs. Match the mode to the job.
Well, mostly I use just bypass permission mode. Yeah, sometimes it can broke everything, but actually like 99.9% of time it does the job. Yeah, let's create a CloudMD file for this project as well, and add all Swift UI conventions and rules for building applications. And also, I want you to add manual testing in these rules. So, for example, if we added a feature, you need to manually test everything that is related to this feature, so to see if everything can be if everything works correctly, and if there is some bugs or some problems that can appear, you need to fix them during your manual test, because recently I saw that Claude can automatically connect with simulator, iOS simulator, and test everything by itself. And I want you to do it every time you add something new, some new feature. You need to test everything like that is related to this feature, test that it doesn't break anything, and make sure that this feature will be safely added. So basically our goal is to build a product using modular structure. So every feature should be like it should be considered as a module that can be easily replaced, can be fixed. So everything should be modularized. Okay. So basically most of the time I use bypass permission mode. and it works okay. And I guess the smarter the model gets, the better it understands what it needs to do, what it needs to build, what it needs to delete, because I guess now they are as capable as humans, and humans, I guess, are more likely to destroy everything in your project. Hooks. Okay, hooks.
A hook is a deterministic code at a fixed point in the loop, which means it can guarantee far more than formatting on a run you're not watching. It turns a rule from Claude usually listens into Claude can't skip it. Claude Code fires around 30 hook events. The handful you'll reach for is pre-tool use, which fires before a tool call, the enforcement primitive, post-tool use, which fires after a successful tool call. This is usually where like auto formatting or an auto lint would go. Stop, which fires when Claude wants to end his turn. Refuse if conditions aren't met. Subagent stop is the same signal, but for subagent finishing. Pre-compact and post-compact fire before and after compaction. To re-inject context after compaction, use session start with the compact matcher, not post-compact. Instructions loaded fires when a claude.md or rule file loads. Audit what made it into context. Session start primes the environment. Check source startup to run only on fresh starts. For pre-tool use, return JSON and exit 0 with a permission decision field allow, deny, or ask. There's a fourth value, defer, but it only applies to non-interactive -p runs where a calling process pauses the tool and resumes it later, so you'll rarely reach for it. You can also return updated input to modify the tool call without blocking, which can be useful for redacting secrets out of a bash command. One catch is that updated input replaces the whole input object, so echo back the fields that you aren't changing. For hooks that don't return JSON, exit codes work too. So here's the three numbers that matter. 0 is a success, so if the standard out is JSON, Claude parses it. Plain text is ignored on most events, but on session start, user prompt submit, and user prompt expansion, it gets added to context, which is exactly what makes the state preserver work. 2 is a blocking error, so standard error gets fed back to Claude as a context. This is the blocking exit code almost everywhere, where the lone exception, worktree create, aborts any non-zero code. Watch out, because exit 1 feels like an error, but it actually does not block, so Claude runs the command anyway. And then anything else is non-blocking and is logged. Exit 2 can block stop, which is how you say, no, you're not done. Post-tool use fires after the tool already ran, so it's too late to stop the call, though it can still feed text back to Claude. A few events ignore blocking, like notification, session start, and file change, show your standard error and carry on. A pre-tool use guardrail that redacts instead of blocking. The matcher picks the tool to watch, say, bash, and an optional if clause narrows it to a specific command. So returning deny stops a dangerous call. The lesser known move is return updated input to rewrite the call, which is how you strip a secret out of a command and still let it run. When Claude compacts a long conversation, it drops a lot of details, but a session start hook with the compact matcher runs right after a print short summary of the files you've been working on. That summary goes back into context, so Claude picks up where it was instead of starting cold. Hooks turns a rule Claude usually follows into one that it always follows. Reach past auto formatting, guard tools with pre-tool use, gate the turn with stop, and preserve state across compact. The setup pays back the first time it catches something on a run you weren't watching.
Okay, I want to see use cases of Claude hooks related to my project. Okay, it it wrote claude.md file. Let's read it. Yeah, basically now I'm working on this EpiMind application. It's a mindfulness application related to breathing, related to cognitive behavior therapy. So basically it's I want to make it free so everyone can use it for free. The data stays on the phone, so your cognitive behavior therapy data stays on your phone. And breathing is an extremely useful thing. It's super helpful to keeping your mind clear and pure and dealing with negative emotions. And that's why I decided to build this application, because I wasn't able to find nice application for breathing. Yeah, Apple has a default breathing application. Like on Apple Watch, you can have this mindfulness thing with breathe, but it's not that versatile. Like you have basically one type of breathing, and I want to have multiple different breathing exercises, like for example, to get more energy, to get to be more calm, to be more focused, because breathing is, I guess, the most effective tool for dealing with your mind. Okay, let's write let's read our claude.md file. Okay, decision log never. Yeah, modular architecture is a very useful thing. It makes it much more easy to hunt for bugs, to fix problems, and build stable applications. Okay, design system. Well, I guess it's a little bit overcomplicated. It has a lot of data here, but okay, maybe we will try to fix it in the future, but in general, it has useful information. Okay, let's just talk with Claude. Okay, can you please help me understand how can I use hooks, Claude hooks in this project? Is it useful at all to use hooks in such a simple project as EpiMind? And if so, please give me visual examples of hooks related to my projects. How can I use it? Why should I use it? And why just explaining features I want to have, explaining my vision isn't enough? Again, if this project isn't very useful for hooks, give me some examples of projects that hooks can be used in, and why hooks can be used in such projects. And basically, I want to see visual examples of use cases of hooks. Yeah, routines is pretty important. I actually have some kind of okay, now I want to show it. I will hide. I want to open Obsidian, and in Obsidian I have, okay, it's nothing. It's added nothing. But I wanted to show that I have this radar thing that gives me some information about topics that I'm interested in. Like, for example, here is interesting pilot with Dexcom. I'm very interested in medical AI, vibecoding, AI in general. So this radar, it gives me some useful information related to my areas of interest. Yeah. Okay, let's open Agent SDK.
Once you trust Claude to do a task, the next move is to stop doing it by hand. The most direct way needs no script or a server, a routine, which is a saved prompt plus repositories and connectors that runs on Anthropic's managed infrastructure whenever it's triggered. When you need full control instead, headless mode and the Agent SDK run Claude code from your own scripts and applications. Start with a path where you build nothing. A routine bundles a prompt, the repository it works on, and any connectors it needs, then runs that bundle in the cloud on a trigger, a cron schedule, an HTTP post to its API endpoint, or a GitHub event
Okay, some problem. I hope it will work okay. Like after it finished, I won't have any problems related to this stream, because I want to keep all of the streams alive, and now there is a problem with bitrate. Okay, let's try to, I will try to fix it. Why bitrate is such low? Okay. I guess my internet connection is pretty slow, and I try to stream on 3 different platforms, and that's why it has problems with bitrate. Maybe I need to use some kind of streaming application that helps to stream on different platforms. Like you just have only one platform that you're streaming in, and your internet connection, if your internet connection isn't very fast, it will be enough to stream on this one platform, and this streaming platform will restream to another platforms. Okay, I guess we will finish this first day of journey, and later, if it will be very bad, I will just use restreaming platforms or something like this. Because if streaming quality will be very laggy, it will not work correctly, if it will always have some problems. Okay, let's here Okay. So let's check maybe internet connection speed. Okay, Claude finished doing information about hooks. Interlocking makes a new cipher possible. Interesting. Okay, basically we can use hooks, for example, if we want to make sure that our agent won't do anything that we don't want it to do. For example, if I build something related to medicine, it needs to make sure that it checked all of the clinical data, all of the meta-analysis related to this problem. For example, if I'm building some feature related to breathing, to particular kind of breathing, it needs to check meta-analysis, peer-reviewed studies, and write information about this type of breathing only after it analyzes, let's say, like 5 or something. Well, not 5, just analyze at least one meta-analysis related to this type of breathing. So I guess it can be used to make sure it checks if thing that it's working on is related to medical conditions, it's related to human health. It needs to be as strict as possible to those features. Maybe it needs to use some different sub-agents to make sure that the feature we're working on won't cause problems to our user. Can we use hooks for this type of work? Okay.
Like a new pull request. The infrastructure is Anthropic, so there's no machine of yours staying on overnight and no workflow file to maintain. You create one from the web at claude.ai/code/routines or from inside Claude Code, where you can run /schedule daily dependency audit at 9 a.m., a morning dependency audit, or a PR triager that fires when a new pull request lands. Anything that's the same prompt on a recurring trigger fits. 3 things to know before you rely on it though. Routines are a research preview, so behavior and limits will just keep on moving. A recurring schedule runs at most hourly, and each run starts from a fresh clone of your default branch and can only push to Claude/prefix branches unless you loosen that.
Okay, now you can see that my vibecoded application, it has this recovery thing, like I can make Pomodoro timers, and it will just after I finished Pomodoro timer, it will just show this timer that tells that I need to relax, recover from work. And I guess it's pretty funny thing to have. But I'm not really tired, so let's continue our vibe coding journey. Okay, now I got some weird comment at Twitch. Yeah, I guess I need to ban this comment. Okay. I banned this AI comment that tried to advertise AI things. Yeah, probably I need to make strict settings, but it's funny, I don't have any viewers on Twitch except this bot that tried to promote his AI project. And x.com I still also don't have any viewers at YouTube as well, but that's fine. I'm doing it for myself to have some kind of story for me to see how I started, when I started, which problems did I experience during my first days of this journey, what I was trying to build. I guess in the future, my products, they will have huge pivot, and it will be very different from what I think about it now. It will be very different from what I see it right now. I'm totally sure, and it's impossible to kind of have this kind of 2 years vision. Even 1 year vision is impossible. You can't predict what will happen in 1 year. It's impossible. Like no one 1 year ago, no one would predict that Fable 5 will exist today. And Fable 5 is amazing model. It was a huge step in language models, in my opinion. It was unbelievable when I first tried it. Yeah, but after some time, you kind of I got used to it, and it's weird how we underappreciate this technology that 5 years ago it was considered some sci-fi, and we're living in science fiction now. Okay, let's continue.
When the job needs your environment or logic around that run, drop to headless mode. The -p flag, alias print, runs Claude Code as a one-shot command with no interactive TUI. It reads standard in and writes standard out, so it pipes like any other shell tool. Bear skips auto-discovery of hooks, skills, plugins, MCP servers, and the Claude MD file. You get Claude, plus the tools that you allow explicitly, and nothing the local environment happens to load. Startup is much faster this way. Now, you can pair the JSON schema with output format JSON, and Claude constrains the structure output to match your schema. The schema matching object lands in the structured output field of the JSON response. So you can pull it with a JQ command and pipe it into a database or another script. For multi-step automation, capture the session's ID from a JSON output and resume. One script kicks off the work, another resumes it later with full context. The agent SDK gets you a library that embeds Claude Code inside of your own TypeScript or Python applications. Both expose a query function and the same primitives as the CLI. You pass a prompt plus options like allow tools, a system prompt, and a permission mode, then iterate the messages that Claude streams back. Routines are the default for repeat work. It runs on Anthropic's infrastructure and nothing for you to host. Drop to headless when the job needs your pipeline, -p to pipe data through a script, bear when CI needs the same results every single run, and the agent SDK when the work belongs inside of your own product.
I don't like those type of videos which just explain how it works, but they don't provide any examples. Yeah, but I will just talk about it with our Claude Code. Yeah. Okay. Is this okay? Desktop view. Okay, the chapter closed loop with no ground truth is edging both lines errors and check that evidence was found. You build a loop, but nothing grew on it. Hallucinated meta-analysis passes both gates. Tell me exactly what you want to build. Okay. Okay, happy up, happy mind. Hmm. Give me a nice and visualized example of how it works, how it can work in our project. For example, we have radar. So in this project, we have a radar that tries to find interesting topics, interesting articles related to my areas of interest. So every morning I will get useful information related to my areas of interest, and can we use these schedules in this radar search. Can you just write an example of a problem that we may have without such pipeline? Like, just write it in bullet points, like, for example, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and here is a problem, and here is a fix. YouTube again, we have very bad bitrate. Yeah, but maybe I will try to fix it later. Yeah, Thursday will be very laggy, I guess. Let's see if it's also lagging here. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, well, it's wrote information about my radar, but let's finish this. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Once.
That reviews PRs through the Claude GitHub app and posts findings as inline comments with nothing for you to build or host. The do-it-yourself one is the Claude Code GitHub action for when the job goes beyond review and into custom CI. An organization admin turns it on from the Claude Code admin settings, then installs the Claude GitHub app and picks which repos it watches and when it runs. Once when a PR opens on every push, or only when someone
Так.
comments at Claude review. And from there, it runs on Anthropic's infrastructure. A set of review agents analyzes the diff against the full code base and posts findings as inline comments on the specific lines, tagged by severity with a summary table in the check run. It deduplicates and ranks so you read a handful of real findings instead of a wall of nits. It never approves or blocks the PR. The judgment call stays with a human. Code review is a research preview, currently for team and enterprise plans, so expect the behavior to keep on moving. And there's no managed auto fix. The service posts findings only. Applying them is a local move from your own terminal, where the /code review command reviews a diff and its --fix flag applies the findings to your working tree. The action covers the jobs beyond review, implementing changes from a comment, schedule.
Okay. Can you give me explanation on some examples of these GitHub actions and code review with Claude Code? How can I implement it with my project? Give me visual examples. Show me visualizations. Okay, now I hope streaming is faster. No, it's not. That's pretty sad. Okay, okay. Now let's make some meditation. Well, let's actually test my application. I will show how it works. Okay. Let's run simulator. So I want to test this application inside simulator to see how it works and to practice, actually practice some breathing. Okay. Oh, first follower. Hi. Thank you. Okay, I wanted to show my application for breathing because I just want to relax a little bit from work. Let's run this meditation in my custom application. So here is how this application works. We have cognitive behavior therapy, for example, I don't know, situation. The streaming isn't working correctly, bitrate is very low, streaming quality is very low, so I guess final video will be very laggy, it will have some problems, it will be very slow, and my first day is destroyed. Okay, that's it doesn't allow me to speak inside. Okay, let's say like I feel sad because streaming quality is bad. So basically, I want to just show how it works. Like we logged situation, logged some thoughts. Like I feel frustrated. I don't know, frustrated and angry because basically like here in OBS it shows that bitrate is very slow, like, but now it says it's okay. And I want to show how it works. So we wrote something in this cognitive behavior therapy session. I feel frustrated, so on, and emotions that I feel, like I don't know, frustrated, disappointed, and so on, because it's first day and streaming quality is not very good, but probably first day is pretty important, because later, like on day 100, I would like to revisit this day to see what I was doing back then, and now I feel, for example, it's an example for cognitive behavior therapy. So the problem is that streaming quality is bad and I feel angry and so on and so forth. But why I feel angry? Here is an example. For example, I don't know, all or nothing thinking. It's very dangerous because you feel like if streaming quality is bad, everything is bad, and I will fail and so on. Emotional reasoning, it suits you here as well. So we added those emotions, and here you can write fairer way to see it. For example, it is fine to have problems during streaming. You will just fix it. That's part of the job. So of course I don't feel such emotions because I have bad quality of streaming, bad bitrate, but I just want to show how my application works. So we added our more rational thoughts, and what I feel right now, it's calm, relaxed, safe, and so we now we see that our emotion changed from frustrated, disappointed to calm, relaxed, and safe. So, and you can save it to your diary, and you can see your emotions during your day, week, and every day. You can click on every day and see your diary this day. So today entries in my cognitive behavior therapy diary is the first entry is today. So it's pretty useful. And also we can look more mood without any sessions, because tracking mood is useful as well, and we don't really need cognitive behavior therapy to track mood. So, but I wanted to actually meditate, and I wanted to try some breathing exercise. So, for example, I want to practice breathe. So here I can start breathing. I can, for example, choose what I want to achieve. What I want to increase energy. There are Wim Hof breathings. It's pretty useful. But now I want to just calm and feel more calm and relaxed. So, for example, is just default 3 minutes breathing. Let's make it 3 minutes. Yeah. We can also add background sound. So we actually on phone it will add the vibrations. So I finished this breathing exercise and it was pretty useful for me. Now I feel much more calm and relaxed. Yeah, I actually built it using vibecoding. Yeah, but I had every feature, I kind of had it in my head, and I tried to explain it, and I tried to first build some design mockups of what I want it to look like. Yeah, I basically vibe coded it entirely. Okay. Again, it's lagging on YouTube. So I will need to probably use some kind of restreaming tools, because it's not it's impossible to stream with such a bad bitrate, but that's okay. I will just, it's just funny. Okay, let's continue vibe coding. So I asked, where it is? I asked about workflows, and it showed me some examples. Okay, let's see. 2S scan reviews, constant integration. Yeah, I can't enable it, but actually I have kinda local runners that check every pull request. So let's discuss it. Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day. I really like kefir. It's the best drink that was created by human civilization. And I wanted this drink to dominate the world. It's one of the greatest achievements of human civilization. I guess only internet and AI is better. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk it with Emacs. Yeah, I'm using Claude, and I use ChatGPT for image generations. Okay. Well, can we just use our own local runners to test every pull request that we add? Because on my other project, I will give you a link to this project. I just every pull request it has several tests, and only after those tests it can be merged to main branch. Basically, I want you to do the same in this project. So probably we don't need this Claude server runner. We just can test everything locally. We can use local runners. We can do everything by ourselves. And I want it to be very strict. Like, you need to test everything, test every feature that we add. We can't push anything without testing it on every possible circumstances, every possible behaviors of applications. So we need So basically test needs to be our motto. Okay, epi landing, epi mind, epi up. Okay, now I want to show it. I want to show it link to our application. Yeah, probably I will just restream. I will just use restream application to restream everything because it's very bad quality, unfortunately. Okay, I wanted to show it another application. Epi neon up, epi file. Okay. So here you can see another application, and you can try to use similar approach for testing. So we need to test everything before shipping. It's the main rule. We need to add it probably to CloudMD file as well. And maybe you can provide me some ideas about best practices of testing application before shipping, and how we can implement it using Claude Code without any other tools. So basically we need to write it here. Oh, actually for you, Twitch bitrate is pretty decent. Okay.
Work that you didn't even supervise. That check is what makes hands-off Claude Code safe to rely on. Verify in proportion to the rope that you gave the run. A short session where you watch the messages scroll by needs a glance. An unattended run or a job that fired in continuous integration with nobody in the loop actually needs a real check because no one saw it happen. And when a run does go unattended at work, keep it in auto mode rather than bypass permissions. The classifier still reviews each actions for danger. It never judges whether the code is right though, so the verification bar stays where it was. Set that bar from how unsupervised this run was. So start with the diff itself rather than Claude's summary of it. Run/code review to walk the changes and flag issues. Then put your eyes on git diff. The trap is a tidy summary that reads fine while the diff touched a file that you honestly didn't even expect it to. Read what changed and read the files that weren't in the plan first. The real gate on an unsupervised run is whether the test passed and whether Claude ran them or only claimed that it did. Don't leave that to trust. Wire it as a hook so Claude can't skip it. A stop hook that runs your tests and refuses to end the turn on a failure, or a post-tool use hook that lints and type checks after every edit. A hook that exits with code 2 feeds the failure straight back to Claude, which reads it and fixes it without you asking. The check fires on every run, whether or not you remember to ask. The sub-agent code review you'd run before a PR works here too. Point it at an unsupervised run. Open a fresh session or subagent and have it review the change cold with no memory of how the code was built. It has no stake in the approach and catches what the original run talked itself past. Make the check as serious as the run was unsupervised. Read the diff, turn the test into a hook that gates the turn, verify headless runs by their JSON result and exit code, and get a cold second opinion on anything that matters. Do that, and Claude did it while I wasn't looking, no longer takes faith.
Well, basically it's obvious, I guess. Maybe let's talk about it as well with our agents. Yeah, that's set. Okay, okay, let's do it. Here is some examples that Anthropic team provided in their course about verifying unsupervised runs. And can you give me an examples of such things that can be used in our project, and maybe other things that can be used in our project to verify unsupervised runs to make sure that everything will work fine, we'll have no problems at all.
A setup you trust is worth more when your whole team runs it. Plugins are how Claude Code packages a setup and moves it between people, and there are two sides to that: using the plugins other people publish and packaging your own once you've built something worth sharing. A plugin is one installable unit. Where it lives sets how you install it. Inside a session, /plugin install the organization name at the plugin name does the same thing. For a team, add a private marketplace once with the /plugin marketplace, add your organization /Claude plugins, or whatever you want to call it. And every install after that resolves through it with centralized discovery, version tracking, and updates. Now, a plugin runs code on your machine with your privileges, and its hooks fire on every matching tool call. Install it for the skills, and you also get its pre-tool use and stop hooks whether you read them or not. A community plugin can ship a stop hook that calls out to a network endpoint, and nothing in your configuration will warn you. See every hook, agent, and MCP server that it adds. Install plugins and add marketplaces only from sources that you truly trust. The in-app submission form post to the community marketplace after Anthropic's automated review, and the official marketplace is curated on its own track. Reviewed isn't the same as trusted though, so check what it does. A plugin doesn't overwrite your configuration, its components run alongside yours. So first, hooks stack together. A plugin's pre-tool use and your own both fire on every tool call, which is the reason you read the details first. Skills, agents, and commands are namespaced under the plugin name, so they never clash. A plugin can also ship a settings.json file, but a narrow one. So Claude Code honors only the agent and sub-agent status line keys. Setting agent promotes one of the plugin's sub-agents to the main thread with its system prompt, tool, restrictions, and model. And enabling that plugin changes how Claude Code behaves by default, which is one of the main reasons to look before you even turn it on. So once you've built a .claude directory, instead of your team copying and pasting between machines, package it instead. A plugin bundles all of it as one version installable unit, skills, subagents, hooks, and MCP server configs, plus the longer tail of the language server protocol servers, background monitors, themes, and a settings.json slice. The manifest lives at .claude plugin/plugin.json and holds the name, version, description, and author. It's optional, but leave it out and Claude Code discovers components by directory convention. The directory structure does the rest. The same .claude shape that you already use with skills with one folder per skill, agents with one markdown file per subagent, hooks/hooks.json and .mcp.json, all at the plugin root. Name is the only required field, and it namespaces your skills as the company name, skill name. Version it like any other dependency. When you use plugins, read before you install. When you build one, package your .claude the moment it works. One manifest, one install, and the setup you trust reaches your entire team.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's a real problem. Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about plugins. Give me some examples of plugins that can be used in this project, and just show me visual explanation of plugins in real life. How can they be used? Now we have, for example, GStack, and we have another plugins installed, and just show me how it works, what are best practices to use them, and what are the best possible plugins that we can use that already exist and that we can use in our project to make our building more easy and more professional. Okay. Okay. Schedule, summarize schedule. don't understand what they want. I guess it was this GitHub application on like you can add it to your team, but is it this one or this one? Okay, maybe GitHub Action. I guess it's this course lacks of practice examples. It just shows you how it works and that's it. And if you have practical examples, it's much more interesting. Okay, what was the error where I did an error? UT wants, yeah, I don't understand what does it mean. Because I never tried it, I actually don't understand how it works. They showed it here, GitHub Actions, but it works only for Teams and I don't have Team account. Yeah. Okay, do we still have problems? Yes, we do. Here as well, of course. And here as well. But here bitrate is okay. It says green. Okay. maybe I will just stop Twitch and X because they take some bitrate. So I stopped Twitch, I stopped X, and now YouTube, I guess, will get more bitrate and it will be less laggy. I hope so. Yeah. No. Okay. Let's just see. Desktop. Why it's still poor quality? Because I guess I did quality. 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 Because I guess I did if we added the feature